sleek black car, staring at the golden invitation lying on the leather seat beside him. The words, "Annual High Society Gala," glared back like an obligation rather than an honor. He sighed, loosening his tie. He had wealth, he had status, but every year, the same thing. Models hanging on his arm, empty laughter, and shallow conversations. "Sir, shall I drive straight home?" his chauffeur asked. The billionaire leaned against the cool glass of the window, watching the blur of city lights. That's when his gaze caught something different. On a street corner, near a flickering lamp post, sat a woman. Her clothes were worn, her hair tied loosely, but her eyes carried a strange quiet dignity. A cardboard sign rested on her lap, not asking for pity, just a chance. He tapped the glass. "Stop here." The chauffeur hesitated. "Here, sir." "Yes, here." The car pulled over. The billionaire stepped out, his polished shoes clicking against the pavement. The woman looked up, startled. She expected coins, maybe a quick glance of pity, but not him. He studied her for a moment, then spoke softly. "I have a proposition for you." She frowned. "If this is some kind of joke, I'm not in the mood." "No joke," he replied, his voice calm but firm. "I need a date tonight. Just for one evening. You'll sit beside me, act the part, and when it's over, you'll never have to see me again. I'll make sure you're paid more than fairly." Her eyes narrowed. "Why me?" He paused, almost at a loss for words. "Because you don't look like you'd pretend to be anyone else. And I'm tired of people who do." For a long moment, silence hung between them, his tailored suit against her torn jacket, his world against hers. Finally, with a mix of disbelief and desperation, she whispered, "All right, but if I make a fool of you, don't say I didn't warn you." He gave a small smile. "Then we'll both be fools tonight." She stood, clutching her worn bag, and for the first time in years, walked toward a life she never imagined. The grand ballroom shimmered with crystal chandeliers and golden drapes. Laughter and the clink of glasses filled the air as the city's elite paraded in gowns and tuxedos. Every eye turned when the billionaire entered. People expected him to arrive with another glamorous model, flawless and rehearsed. But tonight, he walked in with her. The woman clutched her old bag like it was armor, though the billionaire had gently insisted she leave it in the car. She wore a borrowed dress, simple, a little out of fashion, but clean and pressed thanks to a rushed boutique stop on the way. Her hair, loosely tied, framed her face in a way that made her look fragile yet unshaken. The whispers began instantly. "Who is she? She doesn't belong here. He must be losing his mind." The billionaire ignored them, his hand steady at her back. He led her through the crowd, introducing her as calmly as if she were royalty. Some laughed behind raised champagne glasses, others smiled with fake politeness, and a few looked openly offended. At the table, one woman in a glittering gown leaned closer and sneered, "And where exactly did you find your date?" The homeless woman stiffened, her cheeks burning. She wanted to shrink into her seat. But then she caught the billionaire's reassuring glance. Something in his eyes told her she didn't have to hide. She looked directly at the woman and replied, "Probably in a better place than where you found your manners." A ripple of laughter spread across the table, not at her, but at the stunned expression of the socialite. The billionaire chuckled softly, pride flickering across his face. As the night went on, she spoke honestly, not sugarcoating her words to impress anyone. She laughed at things that were truly funny, not the hollow jokes of wealthy men trying to boast. Slowly, people noticed. She was real in a room full of pretenders. The billionaire sat back, watching her, almost forgetting the deal they had made. For the first time in years, he wasn't acting either. The night had grown deeper, the music slower. The ballroom gleamed with polished marble and the scent of roses, yet the billionaire hardly noticed. His focus was on her, the woman who was supposed to just be a stand-in. They slipped away from the crowd, settling near a quieter corner where the golden light softened. She sipped water from a glass, her hands trembling slightly. "You're holding up well," he said gently. She gave a half-smile. "I'm surviving the stairs better than I thought. Though I don't think I'll ever get used to being looked at like I'm some circus act." His jaw tightened. "They don't know you. They don't deserve to." Her eyes glistened, but she forced herself to look at him. "You don't know me either." "Then tell me," he said, leaning forward, his voice low and earnest. For a moment she hesitated, the weight of years pressing against her chest. Then the words spilled out. I wasn't always like this. I had a job, a small apartment, dreams of becoming a teacher. I even had someone I loved. Her voice cracked slightly, but one accident, one moment, and it all crumbled. Medical bills, debts, people walking out when I needed them most. The streets don't ask for permission, you just end up there. She wiped her eyes quickly, embarrassed. And now here I am, pretending to be someone I'm not, just so I can eat tomorrow. He sat silently, his throat tight. In her trembling honesty, he saw a strength none of his polished companions ever had. Then came the intrusion. 3 of his longtime business friends strolled over, glasses of champagne in hand, smirking like jackals. Well, one of them sneered, so this is the big mystery date. A bit of charity work, is it? Another chuckled. Careful, old friend. Next year you might bring in a stray dog. Might get you more sympathy. Laughter erupted between them, cruel and sharp. The woman shrank back, shame burning her cheeks. But before she could speak, the billionaire stood, his voice cutting through their mockery like steel. She's worth more than every shallow soul in this room combined. If you can't see that, then perhaps you don't deserve to stand in my company. The laughter faltered. His friend stared, unsettled. The billionaire turned back to her, his expression softened. Don't let them make you feel less. They've forgotten what it means to be human. She stared at him, her heart pounding, realizing he wasn't defending her out of obligation. He meant it. The orchestra struck up a slow, elegant waltz. Couples drifted to the dance floor, gowns swirling and tuxedos gliding across polished marble. The billionaire stood, extending his hand toward her. She hesitated. I don't know how to dance like them. He smiled softly. Then we won't dance like them. We'll dance like us. Her hand slid into his, rough and calloused against his smooth grip. He led her onto the floor, and though her steps were clumsy at first, he guided her gently, never letting her falter. For a moment, the whispers seemed distant, the glittering crowd a blur. It was just the 2 of them. Then, in the middle of the dance, he stopped. She frowned, confused. Why are we? Before she could finish, he sank down onto one knee. Gasps erupted across the ballroom. A murmur swept through the crowd like a wave. Her eyes widened. What are you doing? She whispered, trembling. He looked up at her, steady, his voice carrying across the stunned silence. All my life, I've been surrounded by people who only saw what I had, not who I was. And then I met you, someone who saw me without even trying. I don't need perfection. I don't need polished lies. I need you. The room froze. Crystal glasses hung in midair, whispers collided, and jaws dropped. The homeless woman's knees weakened. But I'm nobody. I have nothing to give you. He shook his head. You've already given me something no one else ever could. Honesty, courage, and the reminder of what it means to feel alive. Her hands flew to her mouth, tears brimming. The entire ballroom waited, mockers and admirers alike, holding their breath. Finally, with a trembling laugh that was half sob, half joy, she whispered, yes, I will. Applause broke out, hesitant at first, then thunderous. Some clapped reluctantly, others with tears in their eyes. The billionaire rose, pulling her into his arms as cameras flashed and music swelled. What began as a deal of pretense ended as a love story no one in that golden hall would ever forget.